Good morning, friends. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, and today I thought I would show you how we can decorate a larger Easter egg. Sometimes it's challenging to decoupage on the smaller Easter eggs, and if you like the project that you do today, you can then start to work on the smaller ones as well. It's all of the same instructions. And here's what I'm going to show you how to make. And here's the egg I'll be showing you how to make today. And this one is more for the adults. Instead of doing the Easter egg dyeing and the cute little things for children, we may just want to make this one for ourselves or for a friend of ours who, you know, prefers this type of taste. So without further ado, here's how we can get this started. I'm working with this large cardboard egg, and to make it easier, I wanted to put a hole in the bottom so that I could stand the egg up. I needed to put a nail through here with a hammer. I couldn't really do it on camera, so off camera, I put a nail through this just to make a hole there. I then took a bamboo skewer and one of these pieces of styrofoam something that we purchased had this thick styrofoam around the outside of it, and I put the bamboo skewer through it and the egg over top of it, which made it a lot easier to work with. It was still a little flimsy here and there, but it was still better than having it laid down. Now I painted 2 coats of chalk paint on this, and I let it dry between each coat, and the color matched almost identically the background of the napkins that I'm using, and that's what you want to try for, because you can't always get into these smaller spaces, especially when you're cutting napkins. And by the way, don't separate your napkins yet. They will be really challenging to cut if you separate them, so keep them at the 2 or 3 ply. By the way, all of these supplies will be on my website. I'm using small curved decoupage scissors here, which are a huge help when you're cutting out these small patterns. So I'm going to cut out a bunch of different sections of the napkin. And by the way, you can get everything on my website. The link is right below this video in the description of the video, and it will take you right to my website. However, the napkins are not always available, the exact same napkins, so I try to put several different styles of napkins up there for you to choose from. And my egg has dried, so I want to show you how those tiny spaces in between the flower and the stem right there, they almost match it identically. So it will look like this flower is painted on. And it's still a little bit of intricate work when you want to cut these out. But to me, it's very relaxing. And sometimes you have pieces like this, which we're not going to separate these yet, but you can see how this is one large piece of the napkin that I was just able to cut the whole piece out, which made it very nice. So now what I'm going to do is separate the napkins, and I'm going to be using a fan brush. You can use a different type of a bristle brush. The sponge brush may tear these because they're so delicate. So I'm just wetting my fingertips a little bit, and I'm going to gently pull these napkins apart. And you do want to finish pulling all of these apart before you get started with the decoupage. What you do is you place the image down over the dry surface, dab some decoupage glue on your brush, and very gently place the decoupage glue from the center outwards of your image. This is going in fast motion, so you can't tell that I'm being very careful here. And then I'm just going to go around the rest of the egg following these same instructions, adding flowers wherever I'd like to put them. And I want to make sure this side dries before I move on to the other side. So I'm going to stand the egg up and let it dry, and then repeat the steps on the other side. Now once that first layer has dried, And you shouldn't do this like I did. I used too much decoupage glue. By the way, I am using Viva Decor's napkin decoupage glue. I am sorry I can't find it for my website. It's a lot easier to find in Europe than it is here in the United States. You can find it in the United States though, and I think it has a lot to do with the success of my projects when I'm working with napkins. It's a gelatinous substance rather than a creamy substance, and it's the perfect medium, I think, for the napkins. So I'm going to cover this whole surface with one layer of decoupage glue. I have way too much on there, as you can see. And I'm just going to put it aside to dry. And here is where it comes in so handy to have it sitting up on top of that styrofoam with the skewer through it. Now once the egg is dry, and that took all of about 20 minutes. The heat is on today still, so it dried pretty quickly. I'm going to add the top coat, and I am using a very shiny high gloss called Triple Thick. You do have to use a bristle brush when you're using the Triple Thick. The sponge brush will deteriorate as you use it. And I'm going to cover the whole surface with the Triple Thick. But while the Triple Thick is still wet, I'm going to take some glitters and put them over the surface. And I will have those glitters on my website for you if you'd like to know which ones they are, if you'd like to purchase them. And again, I'm going to put this aside to dry, stand it up on my skewer in the styrofoam, and that took about a half an hour, maybe a little bit longer. You want to make sure it's completely dry. The Triple Thick can feel a little bit tacky, and you want it to, there should be no tack at all once it's dry. Now once it felt completely dry to the touch, I took my E6000 glue, and this is a trim that I got in the bridal department at one of the craft stores. And I just quickly added a little spot of the E6000 to certain areas. I didn't cover the whole ribbon, just in certain spots. And then I just made sure to wrap it as evenly as I could so that I centered it and wrapped it around the egg. And the E6000 will last forever. That's why I'm using this. And then I put this aside to dry, and we had our Easter keepsake. And I wanted to show you how it's going to look on the inside. This is under the normal lighting in the house. I think these are halogen lamps. And you can see it's a very romantic Easter egg, probably not the most traditional, but one of my favorites. And rather than make several little ones, why not make one large special one? And I just put it in this basket that was painted a light pink. And I added some of that, I don't know what that's even called. It's whatever you stuff the baskets with, but it's an iridescent color. And then here's how it looks outside. In the meantime, don't forget, Upcycle with Decoupage is also on Facebook. If you go over and like and follow the page, you'll be notified every week when I put a new video out. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's what keeps me in business over here. It keeps me going and putting these new videos out every week. I love hearing from you guys. You are just some of the nicest, warmest people ever. I am so appreciative of all of you that ask me questions and make comments. I hope you have a blessed Easter all over the world. And I will see you guys next week with another video. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.